Hi there and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's dive into today's top stories. Fabrizio Romano provides reassuring Arsenal transfer update. Arsenal fans can rest assured that key midfield player Jorginho will be staying at the club this season, according to Fabrizio Romano in his exclusive column for CaughtOffside. The Gunners only signed Jorginho from Chelsea back in January, and he is made a good start to life at the Emirates Stadium, even if he is mostly not being a regular starter. It seems this led to some speculation that the experienced Italy international could make a speedy departure from Arsenal, but Romano had written today about links with Fenerbahce and ruled out a late move to Turkey. Arsenal will surely need plenty of depth over a long and difficult season, especially now that they are back in the Champions League, so one imagines Jorginho will end up having a key role to play, even if he is not likely to play 90 minutes week in, week out. Discussing the Jorginho situation, Romano said, I'm also told there is no chance of Jorginho leaving for a late move to Turkey after some speculation about interest from Fenerbahce. Arsenal fans have been keen to know more about this, but honestly, from everything I'm hearing, Jorginho was never close to Turkish league move this summer. It was never an option. He is staying. Arsenal are back in a Premier League action with a trip to Everton this Sunday. £65 million Arsenal player impressed off the bench with a sensational cameo. Arsenal's Kai Havertz enjoyed a brilliant substitute appearance for Germany in the side's much needed 2-1 win against France last night. Havertz provided a brilliant pass for Leroy Sane to score Germany's second goal and made a real impact in his cameo. Via SofaScore, Havertz touched the ball 17 times and produced an 80% pass completion rate in his 26 minutes on the pitch. And with all the dom and the glom around Germany's Havertz at Arsenal lately, fans will be pleased to see him having success. Although he's struggled at times, Havertz has received a lot more criticism than he is deserved in his Arsenal career thus far. Moreover, with a tough trip to Everton on the horizon for Arsenal on Sunday, fans will be pleased to see the £65 million signing back in form. Havertz has of course been playing in the role vacated by Granit Xhaka on the left side of midfield at Arsenal. However, he played all of his minutes as a striker for Germany over the break, and with arguably Havertz's best performance coming in the Community Shield as a striker for Arsenal, fans may wonder if a switch is needed. Of course, Mikel Arteta will trust his plan. He brought the 24-year-old to Arsenal with deliberate ideas, and he is unlikely to waver so early on. Havertz showing for Germany last night did however come at the expense of another Arsenal teammate. William Saliba had something of a torrid night at the back for France and wasn't helped by Havertz's cameo. Saliba will probably be relieved that the German will once again be on his side on the pitch come Sunday, and although Saliba had a tough night, plenty of Arsenal players have enjoyed an excellent break. Both Martin Odegaard and Leandro Trossard were on top form for their countries last night. Ali McCoist couldn't believe what Declan Rice did for England last night. Ali McCoist was left stunned by a piece of defending that Arsenal's Declan Rice pulled off for England against Scotland last night. McCoist was speaking on Channel 4's live coverage of England's 3-1 win against their rivals, and when former Arsenal man Kieran Tierney whipped a dangerous ball into England's box, McCoist couldn't believe how calmly Rice dealt with it. Rice pulled off a cautionate header back to Arsenal teammate Aaron Ramsdale, and suddenly, a tricky situation was relieved for England. McCoist was so impressed when talking to co-commentator Dion Dublin. He said, I think he meant that, that's a tremendous defending, I have got to say. It's a good ball in. Rice sees it. Yeah, I think he just knocks it back to the goalkeeper. And whilst Rice is unlikely to make the headlines after last night's win, he again produced a world-class performance. Like West Ham fans have for years, Arsenal and England fans are now becoming accustomed to Rice being top-level game after game. Of course, another Arsenal player who enjoyed a successful night was Aaron Ramsdale, although he was unfortunate to lose his clean sheet owing to an own goal. Ramsdale looked assured in his passing under pressure, much like Rice. Ramsdale will be hoping that his England performance will put him in good standing for Arsenal this week, and it's well documented that Ramsdale's place is now heavily under threat by the newly arrived David Raya. But one thing that is for sure, Declan Rice is going to continue to be a key performer for both Arsenal and England for some time. National media rave about £27 million Arsenal after performance on international duty yesterday. Arsenal forward Leandro Trossard impressed on international duty for Belgium as they defeated Estonia last night. The national media reacted to the 28-year-old's performance after their dominant 5-0 win. Leandro Trossard is one of several Arsenal players who used the international break to get some important minutes under his belt. He's managed to start just one league game this season after he was selected ahead of Edin Ketaya against Fulham. Unfortunately, he couldn't take his chance, and when the 24-year-old came on in his place, he changed the game. Trossard is an important player for Belgium and Arsenal due to his versatility. New manager Domenico Tedesco started the £27 million man on the left wing, and he showed his quality less than 20 minutes into the match. He scored a fantastic goal that doubled Belgium's lead after an early goal from Jan Vertonghen. A Romelu Lukaku brace and Trossard's replacement, Charles, completed the route. Trossard will hope his performance yesterday caught the eye of Mikel Arteta as he looks to break back into the side. Belgian outlet HLN gave Trossard a 7 out of 10 last night and said, "Wonderful to know. First took off, 3 men and kicked in the shop hook, was very industrious. The question will be, can he do it against the better countries too?" Trossard has admitted he has had a conversation with Mikel Arteta recently about his game time. When he was signed in January, the Belgian was brought in to provide cover across the front line. His versatility is very important, but has made it difficult for the Arsenal boss to give him a start due to how useful he is coming off the bench. Trossard started his Arsenal career brilliantly and has always impressed for Belgium. His form has dipped slightly this season, and given the options Arteta has at his disposal, it's hard to justify starting him right now. Mikel Arteta now truly trusts 24-year-old Arsenal man to deliver his on-field instructions. Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta really trusts forward Edin Ketaya and has given the 24-year-old more responsibility. A report from The Athletic has shared more details about the pair's relationship. There has been plenty of noise around Edin Ketaya for some time due to his fantastic goal-scoring exploits while coming through the ranks. The striker scored 15 goals in 16 under-18 appearances before being promoted to the under-21 side. At that level, he recorded 35 goal contributions in 40 matches before moving on loan to Leeds United. For his first move away from the club to be to one of the biggest team in the championship says a lot about the expectation on him. Even though his time at Ellen Road didn't quite go to plan, Mikel Arteta immediately brought him into the senior squad. Arteta has shown he trusts in Ketaya even more this season as he gave him the captain's armband for the Emirates Cup in a pre-season. In the absence of Gabriel Jesus, he stepped up in the Premier League so far this season, scoring twice and winning the decisive penalty against Crystal Palace. His early season form has earned him his first England call-up. The report from The Athletic states that Arteta considers the 24-year-old a hard worker within the squad. They also believe that the Spanish coach sees Nketiah as a reliable on-pitch communicator, meaning he can deliver important messages to his teammates. While that occasionally means being the player who comes off the bench to deliver Arteta's tactical instructions, Nketiah will hope his manager trusts him to lead from the front when starting too. After Folarin Balogun thrived on loan last season, there would have been people who wondered whether Nketiah would be sacrificed for the American international. Instead, the 22-year-old was sold to Monaco, and Nketiah has already paid back that trust in his ability. Mark Schwarzer says 24-year-old Arsenal man is one of the best players in the world right now. Pundit Mark Schwarzer has suggested that Arsenal captain Martin Odegaard is one of the best players in the world right now. Schwarzer was speaking on the Optus Sport football podcast with the international break in full swing. Many fans will be itching for a Premier League action to return again and hoping their best players come back fully fit. Arsenal fans will know all too well from the World Cup that international duty can be a killer to a team's momentum. Also, Edin Keita deputized for Gabriel Jesus well last season. Losing the Brazilian to a serious knee is still having consequences this season. Mikel Arteta's squad are enjoying a mixed time during their international break with their respective countries. Arsenal's English cohort are edging closer to qualification, while Gabriel Magalhaes just made his Brazil debut. One player who has had a tough time is Martin Odegaard, with Norway struggling to qualify for next year's Euros. Mark Schwarzer believes Odegaard is one of the best players in the world and doesn't want the Arsenal man to miss out on the tournament. Not only that, he is keen for star forward Erling Haaland to be in the competition too. Speaking about Scotland's brilliant qualification campaign, Michael Bridges moved on to their opponent and said, I think the games against Spain and Norway, that's going to be a huge one. I don't not want to see Norway at the Euros as we are going to lose the likes of Haaland and Odegaard and two players that I love watching playing in the Premier League. Mark Schwarzer added, yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? You look at Norway with Haaland and Odegaard and how a good player they are. I mean, two of the best players in the world right now, and Norway are having an absolute disaster. How's that even possible? I don't even understand. There is something fundamentally wrong with his Norway side that they can't get a competitive side out there if you have Haaland and Odegaard in their side. Many Arsenal fans will agree with Schwarzer that Odegaard is one of the world's best players. Alongside Bukayo Saka, he earned recognition as he was nominated for the Ballon d'Or for the first time. Arsenal know how important the Norwegian is and are ready to offer him a new contract. Pundit insists Mikel Arteta isn't about to drop unbelievable Arsenal player. Darren Bent has insisted that Aaron Ramsdale is not going to lose his spot as Arsenal number one, but admitted that he cannot be England's first choice if Mikel Arteta demotes him for David Raya. Bent was speaking on talkSPORT with Ramsdale given the chance to start for England in their friendly with Scotland. Ben acknowledged that losing his spot at Arsenal would see Ramsdale's hopes of being England's number one at Euro 2024 dashed. However, he seems confident that Arteta is not going to make a change. He said, he is not going to become the number two though. For me, Ramsdale's better. Yeah, you can't have a number one who's not playing at all for his club. That position, you have to be playing. It was then mentioned by a fan that Ramsdale is not good as Pickford with his feet, and Bent clearly took exception with that claim. He said, that last bit about the feet, listen, Ramsdale can play with his feet. Ramsdale is unbelievable with his feet. He can ping a pass. He is equally as good as Jordan Pickford with his feet. Ramsdale has done very little wrong this season. Certainly, he could have hardly done more for the goals Arsenal have conceded so far this term. However, the signing of Raya showed that Arteta was not entirely happy with his goalkeeping options, and Ramsdale has probably not stood out for his form this season. So, despite what Bent says, a change may be imminent, and if Raya finds his best form, it could be really a frustrating spell for Ramsdale at the worst possible time. Arsenal have been tracking £68 million transfer target for some time, says expert. Arsenal have been tracking Sporting Lisbon defender Ousmane Diomande for some time now, but are not the only club showing an interest, according to Fabrizio Romano in his exclusive CaughtOffside column. Diomande, who could cost as much as £68 million if he is to leave Sporting, looks a terrific young talent, and it's not surprising to hear that there is a lot of admiration for him from a number of clubs. Arsenal have some quality defensive options at the moment, with the likes of William Saliba, Gabriel Magalhaes, Ben White, capable of playing centre-back, while there will also be Jurriën Timber once he returns from injury. Still, it makes sense to monitor a talent like Diomande, with the 19-year-old Ivory Coast international surely set for a big career at the highest level. For the time being, however, Romano insists there haven't been any negotiations over Diomande as he wasn't for sale this summer. He said, Arsenal, meanwhile, have been linked strongly with the Sporting Lisbon defender Ousmane Diomande by the Portuguese press. I am told he is a player they have been tracking for a long time, but it's not only Arsenal. There are 3 or 4 clubs monitoring Diomande for the future, but it was never a negotiation this summer as he wasn't for sale. As we wrap up today's Arsenal news, remember to stay tuned for daily updates right here on the channel. Don't miss out on the latest updates, so make sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a like if you found this information valuable. Your support means the world to us. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.